Hey y'all, welcome to the Clock Tower. I'm Colton, here with Brandon. And I guess it's Meme Deck Thursday, because for today's open play, Brandon has decided to play his Abomination Ifrit deck against my slightly more normal, if underwhelming, Haruhi deck. So that's a thing that we're doing today.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting.
That's a word. Alright, so I won the roll. I'll go first. Okay. Inauspicious to say the least, but here we are. We'll open by putting down a bomb for 2.
2 hits.
And this is the part where the game stops being normal.
You're not wrong. Draw 1. I'll actually clock 1. Draw 2. Oh, okay. Interesting. How do we want to do this? Well, I think this is prime position to do this, so we should do... Just want to make sure I get this right. Play this one here. Flip the top. It is a character. Draw, and then I discard. I discard that character. And then I discard the climax to get this character back into hand. I will then play the Ricky here. With, I mean, no stock, so no Ricky effect. But I will discard a card to bounce your bomb back into hand. And then I will play the Swordsmith down. When I do, I get to look at the top 2, put them in any order. Okay. And then I play Climax. When I play the Climax, I will stand by in her in the back. Bring him back into hand, granting this one an additional soul. So that way when I swing here, I swing for 3. And then I swing here for 2.
And that cancels.
Perfect. And that ends the turn.
We're going to draw. Clock draw 2. That's interesting. Okay. So both the Primp and Proper and the Hot Springs, because they're SOS Brigade characters, they get an extra 1,000 power because they came in after the Mikuru. And they also get T.
Fair enough.
So everybody has T. Cool, cool, cool.
I mean, the main reason for having the card.
Yes.
To grant the trait T.
We're going to swing in the middle for 3. For 2. Sorry.
2 hits.
Okay. And then we'll swing here. We have 2,000 for 1.
Yep.
And then I will swing here for 1.
Yep.
And then on reverse, save the Mikuru.
Another one red. Goes in the waiting room. Draw 1. Clock. Draw 2. Perfect. Let's see. If I do that, oh yeah, if I do that, it'd be just right. Perfect. I think. Almost. Nope. Almost perfect. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I move you up. I play you to the field. Flip the top. Add I will drop you and I will drop you for you. Yes. From here, I will play the Ricky, pay 1, play 1, search. For a specific level 1 or lower. I'll take this one, put it into hand. And then from here, I will enter into the climax phase. So at the start of climax phase, I will then pay 1, put this card into, sorry, I have to discard and then return it to hand. So I will discard 1, 2, return to hand, and play Ifrit in that spot. So then I will direct here first for 1, 2, 3 and standby. I will stand by in at level 1. So at level 2, I will stand by in. I'll actually stand by in him.
Okay.
And then I will crash here. Right? Because we should be power tied.
Yep.
For 1. And then when this one swings, I will discard 2. And I will drop 2. 2. And I will choose a card in my clock, put it into my level, to deal 4 3 times.
All right, here we go. Okay. Okay. Take it.
Good start.
Oh, man.
Okay.
That's clutch. That's clutch.
That is well played. For 2.
I was like, I hadn't seen a climax in a second. My compression wasn't like good, but I'm like, I'll get 1, maybe 2. Okay. I'm telling you, man, this Ifrit deck is like one of the most stressful things to play against. All right, we're gonna draw. All right. We will. We will clock draw 2.
Okay.
Okay, that was a good decision. I like it. Okay, we're gonna play Haruhi and the Assistants.
Okay.
Then we're going to play Haruhi and Kyon.
Yep.
So on play, because it's SOS Brigade, it gains that 1,000 from the Mikaru. It's sitting at 6/5.
Okay.
I'm also going to give the usual Haruhi will also get power. And we'll throw that in to fill the additional spot. I'm going to tap and give the 1,500 to the Haruhi and Kyon, so now we're power tied over there on that side.
Even better.
And then we slam the 2-soul, because I can meme too. Okay, so here we go. We're going to swing here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
This game is fun. What can I say? We're going to swing with the usual for 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And that pops to memory. I'm just glad you can't get that Ifrit thing off again without losing. And then we're going to swing here, and everybody dies. For 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep.
And at the beginning of the encore step, if it's on the stage, I can slide it into memory. All right. Great game.
Yeah. Well.
This is in a roundabout way what well, maybe not so much roundabout, maybe more just ridiculously direct. This is what happens when Haruhi goes off. So glad I got to show that off on the channel.
Let's see. What are you gonna bring out?
I honestly don't even know if you have do you have like a backup measure in case the game goes horribly sideways?
I mean, normally I have the Gushing Flames Shizu to deal some damage at level 3 if I have to.
But you're kind of out of stock.
Well, I definitely did not think that I was going to go that many straight.
I mean, I wasn't planning on, what was it? Was that 12?
Roughly, yeah.
11? Something like that? Because you were at 2-1, so...
Keep in mind, I should have 3 more climaxes in this deck.
Oh, I know. I know you have 3 more in there. That's one of the reasons why I felt confident that I was going to at least hit, because I really want to push you to level 3, right? Because pushing you to level 3 keeps you from getting your Ifrit off.
Oh, yeah. No, it was the right call.
So, like, I've got... And, yeah. So this is something that I didn't really realize when... when I was putting the deck together, when I was talking about it on the video, is that you can crash the Haruhi and Kyon straight up.
Oh, yeah.
And you still get your combo. Because, like, and I said on the video that you can side attack, which is true.
3.
But you don't necessarily need to. Like, you can just crash. That's fine. That is totally a valid thing that you can do.
Four. Yeah.
All right. So, we need to do one.
You need to do one. I have one climax and 4 cards, and your characters come back from memory. So like you have the cards. Like
I do.
It's game over.
Yes.
It was game over, but you got me to 3/6.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, the card I drew is a clock myself to draw more cards.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I can just throw that down and I can swing 3 times for 1, or I can actually I can also burn pay 2 and burn 1. So
you might as well.
I have
You have 1 in 4 chance of it hitting. So
yeah, exactly. So
or 1 of it in 4 not hitting. So
right. So
boom,
and there it is. Okay, so that is. Oh man. So let's talk about Ifrit. We talked about Haruhi plenty. Let's talk about Ifrit. If I'm even pronouncing that correctly, which I don't know. Whatever. So I feel like you got what you wanted. You just got nothing to stick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you were swinging into 4 out of 25. It's not like you were swinging into great compression. Like, in a normal game, 1 or 2 of those will stick.
Yeah, like in a normal game, at that point in the game, usually 1 will stick. The trick is to try to keep him around just a tiny bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
So like him being 8K, especially if it doesn't stick, is usually a little bit more difficult for the opponent to challenge right away. I also stand by, but I didn't have a standby Ifrit. Normally I would stand by an Ifrit into the back row, so I have an additional one to go for the next turn as well. But because they were all at the bottom of the deck, like literally the bottom card is Ifrit. That I didn't have a standby target for Ifrit.
Yeah, I noticed that and was grateful.
So, like that would have changed things too. Because then I could just essentially slide him forward. With the Ramorous, I can get a full field for only playing an additional card. So it's like I also have the hand size to be able to deal it again and be able to do well, especially when the Kyobe comes back in, or Kurobe comes back into hand when I play Climax. So even if I draw Climaxes, I'm still getting hand size for characters to discard.
Yeah. Honestly,
so like the deck itself is nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it is as
it's a meme deck.
It's a solid meme though. Like this is a meme that is, if you can get that Ifrit off in deck 1, which obviously is the plan.
Well, I mean, which I did.
Into,
you never
exactly.
refreshed.
Yeah, like you're right. I literally never refreshed. I don't know if I've ever played a whole game of Weiss without ever refreshing. That's hilarious. It would be this deck, because this deck has the deck speed of nothing. There is none. But that's it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's very scary. Like I really don't want you getting that off.
I mean, so realistically, had Ifrit stuck around, your compression after that triple cancel was garbage, because you had all your climaxes in waiting room.
Yeah, no, I was literally sitting on like 1 out of 19.
Yeah.
So it was bad. It was pretty bad. I was a little concerned off the top because I had 3 climaxes in hand in my opening hand, and I was like, oh no.
Well, I saw 2 in waiting room.
Yeah.
Off of turn 1, and I'm like, okay, I have to pull this off.
I don't like revealing when I have awful compression right off the top, but I also knew that I was going to need, like, holding on to 2 climaxes, or even just trying to slam a climax down. I have to have a little bit more control over when you get to levels.
Mm-hmm.
When playing into Ifrit, you have to really make sure that you're not,
Oh yeah. Well,
you have to make sure that you're not giving Ifrit
room to work.
Yeah, and if you can stick an opponent and leave them at 6, that's ideal.
Well, for Ifrit especially,
Mhm.
your deck is actually the natural counter to Ifrit.
Yeah,
Because two souls are really the natural
yeah,
counter. Because if you can
yeah,
slam damage back at Ifrit, Ifrit can't handle it.
yeah,
But if Ifrit can slam more damage into you, especially if you're playing a slower deck, you're toast. Because then I can pull
yeah,
it off twice, and
yeah,
the second time is usually more effective than the first. Because by
yeah,
that point, you're either one. You're like, if I get a really good start off, then I know the next one's not going to do so well.
yeah,
I can scale back to clear out your climaxes to keep going. But if Ifrit doesn't do well the first time because you're actually decently compressed,
yeah.
I mean, if I'm able to also pull off the two soul with that,
Hmm.
like for this game, it was more effective for me to have a decent hand size
The
at
terrifying
those
thing
times.
about playing into Ifrit is that if we ran this back, the exact opposite could absolutely happen.
Oh yeah,
Because this is probably. I don't like blaming things on luck. I don't like assigning things
no,
like RNG as like a value, because I feel like that takes away from players, right? Like, because it's been demonstrated over and over and over again that the players who play well with Weiss don't just play well because they have great decks. They are good because they have incredible skill at this game. So I don't think that I think that assigning things a luck value is usually the lazy way out. Ifrit is almost entirely based on high rolling. Like, you do a certain amount of setup and then you just hope it works. Which is what a good meme deck does. And
well,
memes are fun.
memes are fun.
Memes are not fun to play against.
Well, and it also actually makes a difference whether I go first with Ifrit or not.
Yeah.
Because realistically, if I go first with Ifrit, I could have Ifrit turn 2 going
Yeah.
against somebody still at level 0.
Yeah.
So if they're going from level 0 to level 1, they've had one turn to try to get something to be able to go up against Ifrit.
Yeah. And also, you know, you might be able to get 2 Ifrit turns off in your opponent's first deck, which is obviously when their compression is the worst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
and, th- and,
like,
that, and
that's.
that's the goal, is to try to get 2 off in
Yeah.
first deck. Like,
Yeah, it's insane. It is a wildly insane deck. It's a very weird. It's. Are you planning on doing a video on this?
I don't know.
Because, like,
It's an interesting one.
I know the Ifrit deck like exists, and I think that Jack at 3/6 Cancel's been doing some stuff with it.
Oh yeah, his deck's a little bit different than mine. His is actually more of like a real Weiss deck.
Where
This
yours leans more heavily into the meme.
Oh, mine is completely meme.
Okay.
Mine is meme or die. Like, I get 3 turns whether I win or lose. I get 3 turns.
I noticed.
No, I mean, that's just the deck. The deck itself is
Yeah,
you get 3 turns,
yeah,
and then you can shake hands and say, well, our opponents are just getting now to level 1. Do you want to run this back? We can get 2 games in at the same time. And somebody else gets 1.
yeah. That's also a thing.
So, like, yeah, like,
I appreciate how we have had to basically talk for 10 minutes to pad out the runtime of this video so it actually looks like a whole gameplay video.
I was about to say something just along that same line, like, man. But so yeah, this is the Ifrit versus Haruhi. Haruhi wins.
Yep, the goddess defeats the elemental this time. Yeah, we will be back with more stuff next week. Next week is Overlord Week, which garners varying degrees of excitement depending on who you are. But anyway, Brandon will have an Overlord deck tech on Tuesday. We will be playing that deck on Thursday, and then we'll be back with another Clock Talk the following Tuesday, in which we will talk about our first Shop League event at our locals, and anything else that happens in the next 2 weeks, because it's Weiss, and usually something happens.
Something always happens. But yeah, so until then, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.